Good afternoon, this is Cheryl at Sea Spirit Tarot. Hair in my eye already, but at least I'm not itching or what's the other thing I get? The cough. So this is my daily reading, my daily study, my own case study, my own diet. Yeah, my own diary. And I'm going through the thoth cards, and I'm using them as a spiritual journey, and they have been just amazing. You know, I mean, I had the thoth book, and I had stuff underlined. I mean, another one, and it was like, I don't even remember doing that. I'd been so stressed out the last few years. Before I get started, I want to say I'm going to link below a video by a neurosurgeon who should have been legally dead, but came back and is explaining about harmonics and frequency and sound in the human body, and how he used that. Actually, the Om came back, but it's got a long story, and he goes into some quantum physics which science hasn't discovered. But you know, we're all a beam of light. We're all that golden spark, and we are all part of the united consciousness. Until we learn our lesson, and we have many aspects. It almost looked like a picture I saw the other night of Adam Blavatsky. It looks like an atomic molecule, with what would be the nucleus is like where it all overlaps, where we are getting our guidance from our higher self, or the angels, which could be said to be fallen angels because they have come down low enough to affect us, effect us. Gosh, I keep doing that. Affect is like, oh, she has a joyous affect. Anyway, on to it. Yesterday, we had the Ace of Disc, a card of creation, holds the whole suit within it, sits on the Princess of Disc to create. And here we have, you know, the regular Crowley. Here is creation, male, female. Anyway, it's a good card, manifestation of the Ace. And then the second card we had, oh, I've got about an order, was the, I'm pretty sure it was the, I'm going to stop in a second. Okay. I had it on the page for yesterday, so there. So anyway, the Ace. And then, I'm going to say a potential creation. This is a 9 of Cups. Is it right side up? Yes. Attainment. All that we choose to create of who we really are is attainable. Is attainable. And the disc, you know, also the disc, yeah, involve all the suits, contain all the suits. We have the 8 of Swords, interference. Things come up, ideas come up, we let ourselves fall victim. When frequency gets too low. And where does it hit us? I think this was interesting. It hits us in our solar chakra, right? Hits us in our base, of insecure in our tribe. And to speak the truth. But interference is going to come. But that's, you know, like of your own making. All the swords are cards of battle. And this is a block that must be worked through. And it must be worked through by not letting the intellect, not, you know, or the rock override the feeling. Because you're going to come into it through feeling. But first we have to battle. I don't want to use that word. First we have to realize what our interference is in our mind. Our ego trying to control what our heart would feel if we had our heart open. The next card was the Princess of Wands, who I think is just absolutely awesome. If she is directed correctly, she is the base, the throne, the altar of which the Ace sits on, of creation. And if this is directed well, this, I think this is an extremely positive card. If it's out of hand, you are so low in the material realms of lust and lower frequencies. And my thing is to use these cards as a spiritual path to reach higher frequencies. And the last card that came up was the electric 8 of wands, right? Yeah. Movement, creation, potential. I looked that up again and I'm stuck on that. So it was an excellent reading. It was an excellent reading for thought and thoth. So today, here we began. We began. And it seems like I got a lot written down. I'm also going to shoot a lot of this, what I can remember. We have the 4 cups, which is the moon, in the middle decan, which would be the fixed sign. You know, not much movement in a fixed, middle decan, fixed sign of Cancer. Cancer in the moon, and of course the moon rules Cancer. And you'll see here, supposedly these are like squash lotus blossoms, and it's just kind of, I mean, it's flowing, but it's not really circulating. And the card is luxury. Luxury. Lord of blended pleasure, below the abyss. 4s are solid manifestation. They're the first actual solid manifestation that you get. And they're stable, but they're not. They're unstable. The 4s, this 4 expresses the rule of law by manifestation. But purity has been lost in this process of satisfaction, as seeds can decay in the fruit of pleasure. We become so compliant where we are and open the door to stagnation. And you know, you got to move ahead now to the 5, which is not the most pleasant card to go to get to know yourself. But change equals stability. I love that. One of my favorite quotes is by Tom Petty, that the only thing that remains the same is everything changes. He's one of my gurus. So, idea of a totally different order is necessary to carry on this series. So, it's a 4. That's kind of where I am today. I had I worked yesterday, and when I came home, I hurt so bad, and I was just crazy. And today is a day of rest, but also, even after I drew these cards, I got into that Crowley book, and I was just in it. After listening to a long lecture by Blavatsky. Next we have the 4 swords. And remember, swords are always about battle. Battle of the intellect. Battle of the intellect wanting to be in control. So this is Jupiter in Sag, which is its home sign. 20 to 30 degrees, again in a fixed mode. Strong man armed, keeping house in peace. The military. The Lord of rest from strife. Of having to, where's that 8 of strife? You know, I just showed that. Lord of rest from strife, but not making any progress. You know, establishment of dogma and law. Trouble something. Turbulence. The turbulent waters are calm. No, I don't know where I came with that. But anyway, these are both, though you could call them solid platforms, they're 4s. They're static. They're about the mind ruling, the emotions. You know, too compliant. The next card I got is one of my favorite cards, is lust. I'm going to shoot from the hip a lot on this one. This is, of course, the Sun. Crowley says this is the most important card in the deck. This is the strength of joy exercised. And also in the card somewhere, there's a dove of peace coming down, which kind of equates to the Virgin Mary on how one manifests. She's got the reins of a 7-headed monster. Now, I looked up the Babylon woman, and it was Martin Luther that, of course, gave it the patriarchal, ugly, whore Babylon meaning. And in Revelations of the Bible, I guess she is the Antichrist queen, which to me makes sense because she has learned to go within herself. And, where did I put that? It's got to be right here. The mother of prostitutes and abominations of the earth. And she has overcome them. And herself, by loving herself divinely and loving every experience she had, whether it be one that brought pleasure or fear or discomfort or approval, she has overcome the seven-headed beast, and she becomes the Grail. And Crowley says this is the most important card in the deck. So this is certainly of Know Thyself. She becomes the Grail, yeah. And that's all I'm going to say about her, because it's absolutely amazing. And you know, when you have this card, Strength, when you have accomplished strength within yourself and love yourself as the true divinity you are and become one, then all the conflict's over. And this is the first card, I know a lot of the tarot says, where you become to commune, you come to commune directly with God, because you see the hologram that you're in that mimics the hologram of the universe is all really just nothingness. And what we need to become is nothingness. And that's a lot of dealing with the rock of the ego, of the swords, and the complete surrender emotionally to the Grail. And I'd written some, use emotion of nature to discover, use emotion of nature to discover yourself. So use the emotion to discover yourself. Don't reject the emotions. Acknowledge the emotions. Behind the sharp wall, be the observer. There's one little quote I wrote down here that was so awesome. Man is a crystal ray, a beam of light immaculate within. That beam of thy light, guide and thy true self, the watcher and the silent thinker. So we must be all of that. And resist the hypnotic indoctrination that we have been so enlayered with. I do not consent. The final card, moving from the force of solid stagnation. You know, you got to move to the fives and battling all those seven-headed demons to become pure in yourself, again, to become the Grail of the holy light. Because that's what you become, a receptacle for the divine, which is what you are. You just don't realize it. So the final card, again, we got, well, yesterday it looked like a potential to be had. Today it looks like the same. If I but follow this path work, again comes up the 9, attainment of cups, Lord of material happiness, perfection of water in its highest form, perfection of peace, contentment, love, self-satisfaction, divineness in its highest form. So I think that's pretty cool because, you know, I know I'm an old crone, and I am looking at the Bardo sooner than many here. But I've always been on a spiritual quest, and the most blessed thing right now is that I have time to do this, not to be exhausted or working a 14-hour day, 16-hour day, 12-hour days. 12s are not 12s. I don't care what they say. So we have the 4. The emotions need to be opened. The emotions need to be opened farther. And whatever tragic troublesome thing comes to activate the blueprint, is going to be have to dealt with the heart, not with the dogma of the mind. Because the Five of Swords, then you go into a sort of battle, I believe, a battle within yourself. But where I'm looking to go is right here, to be this whore of Babylon, to let go of the abominations, let go of, prostitute. Everything is prostituted. Our society is prostituted. We've been prostituted to be held at the layer of enlightenment that we are at. And we are all enlightened if we will just but become aware of it. But in this duality consciousness, becoming aware of it is we are so judgmental to ourselves, but to become to the Holy Grail, a feminine receptive energy of love, which would lead forth to absolute contentment and peace. We have fire of Leo, Leo the sun, the creator, the love. I always think of Leo, I just think of love. And we have the two fours of the mind and the heart that we need to push through there. And we need to use this quest for strength to push through. And this is what could await us. Now, a while back, I'm new to YouTube, and everybody's talking about Kickstarter. And I'm, on a fixed budget, and it's not very good. I was a single mother statistic all the way through. But I think I listened to Jennifer Ball, and she had said about these cards, go help them. So I did. And they're called Frequency Crystal Cards. And it comes with this little sheet. But it's also got vibration on here, but there's no table of vibration here. But, I got them because I was being lazy, because I have these absolutely outstanding books that have actually all this information in them from 25 years ago, and I just wanted these cards to be easy. So I've kept them next to me, and I've shuffled and I've looked at them, and nothing has ever, I don't know. But, don't say but. There's always what we are, where we are, and there's more. And there's more. But what came up, I shuffled, asked for one card, two fell out and down. And this is gold. Now, she says creation, confidence, divination, yeah. Prosperity, yeah. Luck, abundance, creativity. Well, it would be gold like Leo. But we all have this gold spark within us. And a few years back, I did actual fairly intensive research on gold. I can't parrot it all back, but this is one of the most highest healing frequencies that there is. And on this card, she says it's a Leo card. It's a solar plexus card. It's a Mars card, and Mars is happy with Leo. And then she's got this vibration, which I don't know what that means, and I can't even read them without a magnifying glass. It says it's protective. And I thought it was kind of curious, because one of the stones I've been hauling around, which is not real gold, right? But look at this, how similar it is. So I actually kind of paid attention to this. And of course the colors go right with the Crowley cards. And then the other one that came out, that's how they look, is garnet. Oh, and I meant to get, I have an antique jar, and it says Wizard Oil. It was like one of those drip oils in the 30s or 40s. And actually it's very full of garnets. Let me see if I can get that. Okay, there are no coincidences. There's only synchronicities. So this is probably dusty. I don't know if you can see the garnets in there. Yeah, I can see some redness showing. I kind of use this where I put a lot of just broken pieces in. And then I realized the other garnet that I'd bought actually at a holistic health fair, Bozeman, 100 years ago, is a necklace I have that carries a garnet or a pendant. So garnet, it says here, and other places, I double checked some of it, is your base chakra, right? And you need to be content. I mean, your root chakra of where you stand and who you are, because that's your grail base of accepting yourself. And this again is a Leo card, according to her, fire. And again, it has Mars, which is very happy with the sun, I think. And then she's got a vibration on it, but I don't know what that means. So, it's the first time I've ever used these cards. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. So we had the 2 4s, lust. That's our goal there. And the potential, R, of enlightenment. That was what was so cool about this lecture that I listened to about enlightenment process from a neurosurgeon's experience. And then these were the 2 cards that went with them. So, it's all frequency, it's all sound, it's all light. It's accepting all these aspects that we were here to learn, to use, and releasing them, loving them, to move on our journey. Now, that's a general reading for everybody, but it's also for me, because like I said, I'm closer to the Bardo than anybody that I've heard talk about how old they are, and some won't even say how old they are, and I promise you they're 15 years younger than me. But this is, I need to continue to meditate on this card, have this in my mind, because the more you study and the more you work with the symbols and the frequencies, the more you will self-realize. And that's what we're here for, is to self-realize and not have to come back to this earth. Let's go to a different earth. But these cards are a map of the new eon of Aquarius. The first one was Isis, the first million years. Second one was Isis and Osiris. And this is their son, who is a twin, but a single god, Horus, which actually leads by fire. And I said force the other day, but I don't know if that is the right word to use. I don't think that's the right. But it's fire, even though it's the age of Aquarius. Then we get through that, we're into the age of Isis, which is Pisces, which is dissolving. I'm a Pisces. I want to go on ahead and get there. Anyway, if you sat through my lesson, oh my gosh, it was long, 23 minutes. If you sat through this, many blessings. Have a wonderful, wonderful afternoon. See you next time.